According to what is currently known about Beulah, she has no difficulty stepping beyond certain boundaries in order to uphold Ten Petals' legacy. She and Beth were immediately tense when they first met, and as the program went on, it seemed to only become worse. Beulah is especially hazardous because they put the Dutton pair at a disadvantage, even though they are accustomed to dealing with a variety of adversaries. In Yellowstone, Beth and Rip were from Montana, but in Rio Palma, they are strangers, and even the police are on the Jacksons' side. It would probably be better for the two to handle Beulah with a little more tact rather than just being hostile. Given her resources, their situation, and Carter's developing bond with Orina, they can't possibly defeat her in an open conflict. Dutton Ranch's creative team must ensure that the complex dynamic between the Dutton-Wheeler marriage and Beulah is sustainable because a sophomore year is likely given the film's enormous popularity on Paramount+. New video from the next episodes of Dutton Ranch Season 1 shows Rip Wheeler, Cole Hauser, and Beth Dutton, Kelly Riley, going all out. The action in the second half of Dutton Ranch, the largest new TV show on Paramount+, is intensifying as Beth and Rip take aim at Beulah Jackson, Annette Bening, and the Ten Petals Ranch. The fourth episode of Dutton Ranch concluded with Beth and Rip exacting revenge on the man who sold them a foot-and-mouth disease-infected bull, forcing them to kill their valuable herd of Black Angus cattle. In Dutton Ranch Season 1, the Dutton Wheelers, who have no way to support themselves, also have nothing left to lose and have a strategy to recover everything they have lost and more. A brand new sizzle video featuring stunning sneak peeks of the remainder of Season 1 was posted on the official Dutton Ranch and Paramount+ Instagram feeds. This first glimpse at Dutton Ranch's rear half, captioned "Everything you thought you knew about Rio Paloma is about to change," alludes to the significant turn of events that Natalie Allen Lind hinted about on Screen Rant. The first startling part of the new tape from Dutton Ranch is when Rip enters the bunkhouse of the Ten Petals and issues commands, revealing that Wheeler will take over as foreman. "Give me a week, I'll know everything there is to know about Beulah Jackson," Beth says in the meantime. Rip and Beth appear to be breaking into the Ten Petals, which are crooked from top to bottom. In a different scene, Rip asks Joaquin Reyes, Juan Pablo Raba, "Who put the body on my property?" Rip's forthright question indicates that he will investigate the murder in the first episode of Dutton Ranch. After returning from rehab, Rob Will Jackson, Jai Courtney, and Rip get into another fight, possibly to determine who will actually be the Ten Petals' new foreman. What if the biggest threat to Beth and Rip's new Texas life isn't violence? What if it's something much worse? Manipulation, power, patience, and someone who knows exactly how to destroy people without ever pulling the trigger. Because after watching the episode 5 promo for Dutton Ranch, one thing suddenly feels very clear: Beulah may not just be another rival. She may be the most dangerous enemy Beth and Rip have ever faced. And honestly, that says a lot, because we're talking about the same Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler who survived wars in Montana, enemies with money, enemies with guns, and enemies willing to bury them alive. But Texas feels different. Because this fight isn't just about survival anymore. It's about ownership, control, and who really gets to stay standing when everything starts collapsing. And if episode 5 is setting up what it looks like it's setting up, then Beth and Rip may already be walking into a trap. Before we break this down, hit that subscribe button because we're covering everything happening in Dutton Ranch every single week. Now let's get into it. First, let's talk about the thing nobody can ignore anymore: Beth and Rip are vulnerable. For maybe the first time in a very long time. Episode 4 completely changed everything. The cattle disaster didn't just hurt emotionally, it crippled them. Rip was forced to destroy the herd after disease spread through the ranch, a devastating move that could reshape everything moving forward. And this matters because suddenly, Beth and Rip are no longer operating from power. They're operating from desperation. That changes the game. See, when Beth Dutton is comfortable, she's terrifying. When does Rip feel secure? He's unstoppable. But desperate people make mistakes. And episode 5 looks like it knows exactly that. Because the official setup for the episode reveals something huge: Beth offers Beulah a risky, high-stakes deal that could secure both of their futures. And right there, that should scare everybody. Because Beth doesn't make deals unless she absolutely has to, especially not with people she doesn't trust. Now here's the real question, why Beulah? Why now? And more importantly, why does it feel like Beth is walking towards someone she should be running from? Because if you've been paying attention to Beulah since she arrived, you've probably noticed something. She doesn't move like a typical villain. She moves quietly. Carefully. Almost like someone playing chess while everyone else is throwing punches. And that's exactly why she's dangerous. Beth understands obvious enemies. People who threaten her directly. She destroys them. Rip understands violence. People who come for his family. He handles them. But Beulah? Beulah operates in gray areas. Business. Influence. Psychological pressure. And those are the exact spaces where Beth and Rip are most exposed right now. Peace almost always comes before chaos. Because nobody in this franchise gets peace for long. Ever. Now here's where things get interesting. After the cattle outbreak, Beth and Rip are struggling to recover financially and emotionally. Their entire future in Texas suddenly feels unstable. And who suddenly becomes important? Beulah. That timing feels suspicious. Very suspicious. Because strong enemies often wait until weakness appears. And Beulah feels exactly like someone who waits. Let's talk theories for a second. Because fans have started asking a very uncomfortable question, was the cattle disaster actually random? Or was someone pulling strings? On Reddit, many viewers believe Beulah may know more than she's letting on about the infected cattle situation, especially after Rip hinted that all it takes is one infected animal to destroy everything. Now, is there proof? No. Not yet. But Dutton Ranch loves planting seeds early. And if there's one thing Taylor Sheridan-style storytelling loves, it's delayed consequences. The thing that destroys you is usually introduced long before you realize it's dangerous. And that's why Beulah scares me. Because she doesn't feel reactive. She feels prepared. Like someone who already understands Beth and Rip better than they understand her. Think about what Beth values most. Control. Leverage. Winning. Now imagine facing someone who might actually be better at the patience game than you. Someone who doesn't need to overpower you, only outlast you. That changes everything. And Rip? Rip is even more vulnerable than people realize. Because Rip's weakness has always been simple, Beth. Anything threatening Beth threatens Rip. An episode may force Rip into situations he doesn't fully trust. Some fans even believe the promo hints Rip may temporarily work around Beulah's operation, or at least get pulled closer to her world, which could create even bigger tension. Now imagine that. Rip. Forced into proximity with someone Beth doesn't trust. That's a powder keg waiting to explode. But here's what really makes Beulah dangerous, she doesn't need to beat Beth directly. She just needs Beth to unravel herself. And Beth unravels when emotions take over. When family is threatened. When Rip suffers. When stability disappears. And right now, every single one of those things is happening at once. Texas was supposed to be the fresh start. That was the dream. Leave Montana behind. Build something new. Find peace. But episode 5 feels like the moment Beth and Rip realize, Texas might actually be worse. Because in Montana, they understood the rules. In Texas, the rules belong to someone else. And that someone may be Beulah. Here's another thing people are missing. Beulah isn't just a rival ranch owner. She represents something bigger. Power already rooted in Texas. Beth and Rip are outsiders,